Hi, welcome to another video from Global Watch Shop. My name is Matt. Today I'm going to show you how to set a Rolex Sky-Dweller. So a little bit about the watch first. The Sky-Dweller was first unveiled by Rolex in BEZEL in 2012. It's the most complicated watch currently in production by Rolex. It features an annual calendar, and what that means is it has the ability to tell the difference between a 30 and a 31 day month. So it just needs to be reset on the 1st of March after a 28 or a 29 day February. As well as the annual calendar, it also has the ability to read 2 different time zones. So the watch we're going to be using today is a 326938. That's a full yellow gold model. It featured a new dial that was released at BEZEL in 2018. Let's take a look at how to set the watch. So first of all, one of the most important innovations on the Rolex Sky-Dweller is the ring command bezel. It was first introduced by Rolex on the Yachtmaster 2. And for most watches, you would set the different functions of the movement using the crown, but with the Sky-Dweller, the ring command bezel comes into play as well. But let's start with the crown. So the crown has 3 different positions. Position 0, where we are currently, which is for wearing the watch. Let's unscrew that crown as we would normally, till you feel it pop out into position 1, and that's where we can wind the watch. One more time, position 2, and that's where we now start to set the watch. But the crown, the bezel currently is in the position 0, which is a neutral position, so winding the crown has no effect on the movement of the watch whatsoever. So let's go through the bezel positions. So position 0 currently is neutral. If I rotate that one place anti-clockwise, we'll feel it lock in, and that now enables us to set the time, the date function. So it'll be the date and the month. The date we can see in the date window. The month is using this little red marker here, next to the baton hour marker, and each hour marker represents a month. So we start here, January, February, March. Currently, the red marker is telling us it's April. So if I continue to change the date, let's get past the end of the month. There we go, first of the next month, we're now into May. And if when I'm setting the watch I go too far, actually I can go back as well. And let's watch as we go past the first of the month. Let's watch this month indicator that's currently on May, jump back, and now we're in April again. So we use that to set up the date and the month on the watch. Okay, so one more position anti-clockwise. That's position 2. We use position 2 for setting the jump hour hand. So this is when we set local time. We can set the hour hand independently of the minute hand, because the minute hand will already be set. One more time, let's rotate round to position 3. Now we can see the hour and the minute hand both moving together, and this enables us to set home time. But what we really need to see is the red triangle here. So that's pointing to hours on the inner ring, and I can see currently that's 6. That's telling us that it's 6 AM. We use a 24-hour center wheel. So if I go right back, we can see now that's 22, and we read that in conjunction with a minute hand. So if I set the minute hand to 30 minutes past the hour, we can see here the hour is 22, so it'll be 10:30 PM in my local time. In our last video on how to set a GMT, we explained the difference between home time and current or local time. Again, we need to understand the difference between these when we set up the Sky-Dweller. I won't go into detail on that. You can see that in our last video on the GMT. But very briefly, home time will be the city where you spend most of your time, the city where you live, and local time will be the time zone that you're in at that moment in time. So it could be the same as home time, but if you travel to a different time zone, you'll set local time to the time of your new time zone. Okay, so the first element we need to set is home time. So let's unscrew the crown to position 1. We'll feel that pop out, there we go. Pull the crown out into position 2. Now we need to rotate that ring command bezel 1, 2, 3 places anti-clockwise to position 3. And that will allow us to change that center ring. You can see just past midnight, and we can also go backwards as well. So I'm going to set the watch up in the same way as I did in the GMT in the last video. That will enable you to compare between the two watches and how easy or difficult the setting is. It's fairly straightforward once you get used to it. So let's say I'm in London. Well, I am in London. My home time is 3:30 p.m. That's the time now. So let's turn that back. We're going to go backwards. We're looking for the 1500. There we go. So it's 1600, and between 14 and 16 is the hour marker there. So if I'm set like that, that has got our home time at 3 o'clock. It's actually 3:30 p.m. So I'm going to move my minute hand around to 30 minutes past the hour. So we can see here, we read the hour from here, just after the 1500 marker, and 30 minutes past. So my home time is now set to 3:30. There we go. And the watch is set back to the neutral position, ready for wearing. So with my home time set, the next step is to set local time. So I'm in London, my home time is set for London. I'm going to set my local time to London as well. So we're set for 3:30 p.m. or just past 3:30. Let's set up our local time, also for 3:30. So we unscrew the crown, pops out to position 1. Pull the crown out to position 2, and we rotate the ring command bezel 1, 2 places anti-clockwise, and that gives us control of the jump hour hand. So I'm going to move that jump hour hand so we can see it's just past 12 o'clock and the date has changed to 2. So that tells us the watch is set for AM. So it's 3:30 here, but actually I need PM. So I'm going to continue moving that jump hour hand. We get past 12 o'clock, the date stays the same, tells us it's PM, and there we are, set for just after 3:30 PM, home time and local time. So let's resecure the bezel into the neutral position, push the crown back in, do the crown back nice and tight. Now we have home time and local time both set for 3:30 PM. So we've now set home and local time to 3:30 or just gone 3:35 PM. Next thing is to set up the date. Now if you've ever owned a Rolex Submariner, a GMT, a Datejust, or just about any other Rolex with a date, you will know that when you're at the first day of the month following a 30-day month, you need to set your watch, as it will still show the date as the 31st, and you'll need to change that manually to the 1st. It's not the case with the Sky-Dweller. The Sky-Dweller is an annual calendar, so adjusts to a 30 or a 31-day month automatically within the movement. So if you keep it wound, you only ever need to adjust it once a year, and that's on the 1st of March. Okay, so to set the date, let's undo the crown to position 1, pull the crown out to position 2, and let's move that 1 position anti-clockwise, ring command bezel 1 position to position 1, which will enable us to change the date. So it's currently showing the 5th month, or by the 5th hour marker, which is also the 5th month indicator. Today is the 14th of June. So I'm going to set the watch to the 14th of June. And as I go past the end of the month, that the month indicator in the window will move around to the 6th month indicator. Here we go. So that red marker has now moved around to June. If I go too far, let's go past the end of June. The indicator has now moved to July. I can wind backwards as well, which is really handy if you're around the end of the month and you just miscalculate. Let's wind this back to the 14th. There we go. So the watch is now set up to read the date as the 14th of June. Let's Turn the bezel clockwise back into the neutral position. Re-secure the crown. There we go. Nice and tight. And it's coming up for 20 to 4 p.m. in London on the 14th of June. So our watch is all set up, ready to wear. So we've seen the annual calendar work on the Rolex Sky-Dweller. Now we're going to look at 2 time zones, so how to adjust for local time. So I'm going to use the same example I did in a previous video on the GMT, so you can compare the two. Let's imagine we're travelling to Sydney, Australia. Sydney is 9 hours ahead of London time, and I want to use my Sky-Dweller to be able to read both time zones. So I'm going to set my local time to Sydney with my home time remaining as London. So first of all, let's unscrew the crown. Position 1, let's move the crown out to position 2. Turn that ring command bezel 1, 2 clicks, and now I can move the jump hour hand forwards. So there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can see we've moved 9 hours forward. The watch now tells us Sydney time. It's just gone 20 to 1 in the morning. So the date reflects the local time in Sydney. That's changed to the 15th of June. Home time, we can still read on the inner bezel, sorry, on the inner wheel. It's just coming up for 4 p.m. It's past the 1500 marker, and the minute hand tells us it's just gone 22, between 22 and quarter to. So we know it's coming up for quarter to 4 p.m. and coming up for quarter to 1 a.m. in Sydney. That's local time adjusted. We return the bezel back to the neutral position. Let's re-secure that crown. Make sure it's done up nice and tight. There we go. Okay, now the watch is set up. 15th of June in Sydney at nearly quarter to 1 in the morning. Nearly quarter to 4 in the afternoon back home in London, and the watch is ready to wear. Congratulations, you've just managed to set up the most complex watch in production by Rolex. And that's it from me again. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it really useful. If you know someone who might find it useful, please share the video with them. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel for all future videos. If you've got any requests, any watches you'd like to see in the future, please leave it in the comments box below. I appreciate you watching. Thanks very much. That's it from us. Have a great day.